What is going on, everybody? Today we're going to be doing another episode of Hair Cringe. We're going to be looking at some hair systems that are probably not, what we're desiring to go for as an aesthetic, and seeing if we can find any lessons that we can pull from inside of this video. Remember, please like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell below. That way, not only you stay informed, but we can help destigmatize hair loss and help other people find content like this that might be interested in getting a hair system. Let's jump in, shall we? All right, let's watch this first video now. Looks like this right here is a bunch of slideshows, so that's fun and nice. Showing him before and after. They've cut down his hair pretty low, so he must have had some thinning up top, like right in through here. That's interesting. Okay, so here's the first thing that I want to bring up and I want to mention to you right now. This is really interesting because let's jump in here. So it looks like there's some diffusion or something going on right here, which is nice because that kind of makes it look more natural, right? But it almost looks like it's kind of shiny, doesn't it? Take a look at it. I don't hate that a lot. It's got good volume, it seems like, to match the sides. Seems decent enough. Ooh, okay, so this is something that you might want to be aware of when you're getting a hair system yourself. Now, you see these little dots right here? It looks like he's wearing a poly unit, and this right here is like the base of the hair that's injected in there. Now, with darker colors, it can really show up on skin and just kind of have this dotted look. To be honest, I'm not actually sure if it's something that you can rectify with a poly unit because the hair is generally injected inside of it. But with a French lace or a lace unit, this is something that you can correct because you can actually bleach the knots, or you can actually have the knots bleached by the manufacturer. I think what they're showing is that after 7 months, there's still a lot of hair density. Yeah, so if you look again right here, there's just like some speckledness. It's not terrible. It's something you can get away with, but not ultimately desirable. But you can see that after 7 months, some of the density does kind of decrease and it becomes a little spottier, which can make it actually look a little bit more natural. All right, let's jump into the next one. This guy's scalp looks like it's kind of in bad shape, which is interesting. Nice. Ooh, look at that shine right there. That's a whole lot of shine. That's not something you want when you have the front hairline, and sometimes tape can give that to you. It's just something that draws a lot of attention right there. It makes it look like very oily. It just draws attention right to that hairline, which is something you want to avoid. Yeah, like what is going on right here? It actually looks like the hair system itself hasn't been cut properly. It looks like there's some polyurethane that is still right here on the border that hasn't been cut down. So that actually brings up a point. When you get a new system, like a poly system or something like that, you're actually going to have to cut the border, like the front hairline. There's going to be some extra material hanging down. You have to cut that off yourself. That's not something that is generally done for you. It's not like hair and then the unit ends. It's usually hair and then there's some poly down a little bit further than that. So that's something that you got to watch out for, and you got to be able to cut yourself. So overall, this one is not terrible. It's okay. The one thing I would say is that hairline is a little bit strange. Like you can see it right here. It seems to be something that we can see in just about every straight on perspective of him. And, so it's not just like one shot had an interesting lighting that kind of threw it off. It seems to be a perpetual thing. All right, let's jump into this one. Okay, so it looks like they're actually dyeing his hair. So now he's got dark hair. Why are they doing this? Why are they like... That's very, very strange to me. They're like cutting it as they're installing it. It seems to me like if you did it this way, you would not get very smooth edges. Just try to keep it like somewhat rounded and somewhat smooth. I'm not really sure what's going on there. Okay, I mean, everything looks okay, I guess, right now. Looks like the density's like much lower on this than it was on other things, although she's cutting the hair system predominantly with scissors, which generally recommend razors. That's an interesting look. Yeah, I think that this work is pretty good. The one thing I would say about this though that is a little off is, let's actually take this shot right here and look at it. So look at the density right here. It is so much more full than the density down right here. As you can see, like it's very, very sparse down here. And then instantly it gets very, very thick. And I don't know if you guys can perceive it, but like right here, it looks, I think it has to do with his age more than even his hair. It just, you know, he's a little bit older, and to have that dense of hair just seems strange, doesn't it? I don't know, maybe it's just me. But it seems like it's just the density is too much for him. Everything else looked good on him. Cool, guys. Yeah, so, you know, we saw some of those hair systems right there. And, you know, some of them were halfway decent, but they just had some things that they could work on. I want to show you one right here that, you know, I go to Hair System Haydeck a lot, just because I think that they do really good work. It seems like they're very tasteful in how they approach people generally. So let's take a look at one of their videos that they got right here. I wish I could speak German, man. Such a cool language. Okay, so here we see him before. He always got good music too. Cool, so it looks like they're actually leaving a lot of like height up here of his natural hair, which is good. I think that makes a difference a lot. So they're actually using tape on the front of his unit, which is something that we don't see a lot from Hair Systems Haydeck. That's probably because he's got a life that just kind of demands it or requires a little bit more. But this is cool to see. So his front hairline is tape. I mean, the color is amazing. He's got such a good fade. Not that has to do with the hair system, but just his fade is really good. And the density is amazing. Man, it's so good. It's really the proper density for him. You know, so if I wanted to be super picky, you know, and say like, can I tell if he's wearing one? Right here, you know, there's like this little bit of straightness that is perceptible, I guess, but not really. It's only because, you know, I'm hyper aware of it, but it's totally offset by, you know, the direction of his hair right here draws your eye down and over, which I totally think makes up for it. And I think that they do just an amazing, tasteful job. I mean, like, look at that. Like, like if you saw that walking down the street, that's exactly how you'd walk right there. You'd be like, hey. So they did a really good job with this, as they always do. But yeah, anyways, guys, so this is another episode of kind of Hair Cringe, looking at some stuff that is good, some of the stuff that's kind of bad, and hopefully you learned some stuff from this. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you soon.